Hello mathematicians, it's Miss Armgart. Welcome back to another instructional video. Today we are going to be looking at unit conversions. So first, let's review the mid-school math lesson. We are going to convert our saffron to our silver shillings, and we are going to use a table. We started with our original ratio of 1 ounce of saffron to 800 shillings. They multiplied that by 2 to get 2 to 1,600, and then they used their table to do the half, and then half again to get your quarter. So in the end, you just need to do 1,600 plus 200 gives you the prices of saffron. So that would be 1,800 silver shillings. So this table can be a really useful way to organize your ratios. So now let's look at another table with a new problem. So the question is, how many pounds are equivalent to 52 ounces? Well, 1 pound is 16 ounces. So if we double that to 2 pounds, that becomes 32 ounces. What happens if we have 3 pounds? 3 times 16 is 48 ounces. Well, 48 is just 4 ounces away from 52, so we're getting close. So it must be 3 and some number. What happens if we do 8 ounces? Well, that would be 1/2 of a pound, because 16 divided by 2 is 8. 1 divided by 2 is 1/2. If we divide that in half again, well, that becomes 1/4. For 52 ounces, that would be 3 and 1/4 of a pound. So 3 and 1/4 pound, 1/4, is equivalent to 52 ounces. So the table is a really nice way to organize and for me to see that you are using your equivalent ratios, because you have to do the same to the denominator and to the numerator in order to get the correct ratio. Ratios are one of the most useful parts of math that you will ever do, because converting is definitely something that I have to do, especially when baking or cooking or trying to scale things up and down. So how many inches are in 5 yards? So when we're doing two conversions, so we're going from yards to feet to inches, I always start with the number. So we know 5 yards over 1 divided by 1, because 5 yards is. And then you'll see now we can deal with feet and yard. We know that 1 yard is 3 feet. Eventually, we want to get this into inches. Well, there are 12 inches in 1 foot. And so now we are going to change this into multiplication. We are going to do 5 times 3 times 12, our numerator. We're going to multiply our denominator, 1 times 1 times 1, and that gives us 180 over 1. Now we can go back and put our labels in. So you'll notice that we set this up as multiplication in a ratio. So we squash all those numbers together. So if you see it in the numerator, you can cross it off in the denominator. So we have our 5 was a yard, our 1 down here. We had feet and feet, because feet here, feet here. We are left with only inches. So this becomes 180 inches. The larger measurement to the smaller measurement, yards are bigger than feet, and inches, the value will be big. So now let's try another problem. We are going to now do gallons and pints. So how many gallons are in 36 pints? Still going to set up our problem the same way. We're going to start with our 36 pints, the number we know, and then for every quart, there are 2 pints. For every gallon, there are 4 quarts. Now we do our multiplication. So 36 times 1 times 1 divided by 1 times 2 times 4. That gives you 36 divided by 8. And if you put that into your calculator, you get 4.5. Now the label up here says gallons. How do we know it's gallons? Because again, we are going to go and we are going to cross off. If we see it in the numerator, we're crossing off in the denominator. Quarts in the numerator, quarts in the denominator. We're left with gallons. We have done our conversion correctly. So for every 36 pints, there are 4.5 gallons. All right, so here our word labels are super duper important because we're going from days to seconds. We are going to do 1, 2, 3 conversions. So if you start with 259,200 seconds, then your denominator has to be seconds. Seconds, you'll see translate into minutes. That's what's in the box. And then we have to do minutes in the denominator. And minutes go to hours. That's our next line. And then hours become days. So I have set this up for you. I'm not going to solve it. Come see me once you have the answer for a prize. As always, don't forget your vocab. And I am Miss Armgart. Happy solving.